topic, real estate investing, and today's specific topic, of course, is the power of partnerships. So, really excited to share with you guys today. I hope everyone's staying safe out there and socially isolating themselves. And in the meantime, fighting through any sort of boredom, you guys can learn a little bit and grow your financial education. That's what this is all about. So, once again, feel free to comment, feel free to join our group, ask some questions if you want some more details on anything. But we're happy to join you guys and happy to give some value if we can, right? So we're all about. We're going to dive right into it and make it quick. So going through 5 key points today. What is partnering in real estate investing? What does that look like? 2, equity partners versus private lending. Is there a difference? What does that look like as well? So joint venture partnerships, right? Has anyone ever heard of joint ventures? Very common in the real estate investing world. I'm actually going to share some examples of a very good partnership that I've had and one that didn't go over so well, but had a happy ending, but you'll see what I mean when you get there. But last but not least, where to start when thinking about partnering. Okay? Something that a lot of people don't really think about when they just jump into it. They just have a buddy and they think it's going to be great. What to think about. And I think that the central pillar of this entire conversation and what you need to think about when partnering with somebody or when partnering in real estate, because it's serious stuff, we're talking about real dollars and cents, is what value do I bring? That's what you always have to think about when partnering with anybody is what value do I bring to this partnership? And that's what often I find that the very successful relationships that happen through real estate investing is when both people bring different sets of values, not values, sorry, a different value in what they can accomplish to the table. Their values hopefully should be the same as well. But anyway, let's jump right into it. So partnering in real estate is very, very common. I mean, I'm talking from your 2 friends that want to invest in a property together and they're going to fix it on the evenings and weekends and flip it to make a little bit of extra residual income. So we have clients right now that are doing that, like as we speak, in St. Catharines. 2 buddies that they work full-time jobs, and then on the weekends and evenings they go out and they whittle away at the house. And you know what? It's great. Last one that they did, that they bought through us in Hamilton, they actually made, I think it was like $47,000, and that was in the span of 3 months. So it could be really, really great. All right. So in general, there's different types of partnerships that can take place. But effectively, when people come together to invest in real estate together, that's what it could look like. Now, the terms of those partnerships can obviously vary, and that's something that you want to be very cautious and careful about, and it should all come down to what value each person is bringing to the table. So when we talk about equity partners versus private lending, that's a very generic term, and of course, there can be a whole weekend lesson on power of partnerships. I want to stress that. But for right now, we're just combing the high level surface. So if there's some questions or anything that I can go through in more detail, once again, let me know. Equity partners refer to people that are going to be holding an equity position in the property. So it's pretty self-explanatory. But rather than somebody partnering from just lending money and then getting a return back, somebody might be lending money with the aspect that they're going to be holding a chunk of equity. Maybe it's 25% equity, maybe it's 50% equity, maybe it's 75% equity, depending on how you structure the deal, right? And that's very commonly put is what we refer to when we're dealing with equity positions is actually joint venture partnerships, okay? We really love joint venture partnerships. We do them consistently all the time. I think we've got 4 joint venture partnerships on the go right now, and we've completed I don't know how many others, but they're extremely valuable, especially when you're considering what does each person bring to the table. So we like joint ventureships from the standpoint that we are confident now, based on how we conduct our business, that we can get good returns, and that we're positioning ourselves as real estate experts in this case. And in the other case, someone's out there who's like, you know what, I'm not really happy with how my stocks have been producing or how my mutual funds are getting me my returns, so I'd like to try real estate as an asset class. This is a perfect example of a joint venture partnership where somebody brings the expertise and another party brings the money. And then matching those 2 together, we share in the equity at the end of the project. And the joint venture partner gets all their money back out anyway, so it's a great way for everybody to have a win-win and invest with some wild returns. Okay, I'm going to actually be doing a whole separate video on joint venture partnerships, so if I kind of skip through that, don't worry. I'd like to explain a little bit more and just about the power of joint venture partnerships, because I personally think that they're the it's the catalyst that can propel your business to new heights, and I very much advocate it. But that being said, there's a very caution red silver lining tape. That's you got to be careful, because when you're playing with other people's money, it should be more important than your own. Always, always, always. So, from a personal example, when I first got into real estate, I was actually working with some guys from work, and they're still all good buddies of mine today. But when we were getting into it, we all brought the same thing. We all brought the same thing in to the party, I guess you could say. So our intention was to buy a rundown property, and once again, evenings, weekends, we would all get there and start working on it, and then we would all profit at the end of it when we decided to sell it. The problem was is that we all brought the same level of expertise, the same level of like handyman, the same level of overall process knowledge to the table, and the same amount of money effectively, right? One guy actually pitched more for the acquisition of the property in itself, but all in all, we all brought the exact same thing to the table. And when we were done the project, just a summary, we had barely made enough that we could actually go out for dinner. That's how much like we were kind of scrambling. Everything was very reactive. We didn't really have somebody who could guide the process along, who had done it, who had a little bit of expertise. So maybe we would have been better off to partner with somebody who'd done it before, and then us put in more of the money in those kind of situations, right? That's just an example of when you all bring the same thing to the table, then you're learning the hard way. You're not learning from other people's mistakes. You're kind of having to go through a process that has been done numerous times over and over again, and you're going through it for the first time, right? That's more of a bad example. Now, luckily, we did make money, but like it was nothing to write home about. That's for sure. It was so small. Like as I said, barely enough to have dinner afterwards as like the three of us. But and luckily too, it didn't tarnish our relationship, because we also know that partnerships can often end very poorly if they don't go the way that they're supposed to. So what I call that property was the school of flip, in my opinion. That's what really helps set it aside. But I want to give you an example of a really good partnership. Is that recently we have good friends of ours that one's a retired principal and a retired school teacher, and they are in a position where they have some equity that's lying around and it hasn't been working very hard for them. So they've seen what we've been doing, and they said, okay, Alex, we'd like to partner with you guys and invest in property together. So they will bring the financial contribution. We'll do all the work so that they can effectively be sitting with their feet up in Mexico, once they lift the travel ban, of course. But they could be sitting in Mexico or Tahiti, sipping pina coladas, and their money is just working for them. And we benefit because at the end of the day, we don't have to contribute financially, but we get to reap the rewards of the gains on the back end. So now that the project's all said and done, the place is fully occupied and rented, our return on investment on that particular project was 108%. And they have such little money left in the deal that within less than a year, they'll have the money pulled out. And that's like, you want to talk about a massive win-win. And you want to talk about what value do I bring to this partnership. That's where it's clearly defined, it's clearly set, and that's where you can really benefit, right? So they're very happy, we're extremely happy. Like it's just a match made in heaven, and those are the kind of partnerships I really advocate. So I'm very conscious when people come out to me and they're like, oh, I've been thinking about partnering with so and so who I just met at an investors club, and this was his first time. He just read a real estate book, and now we're gonna jump in together. You got to be careful. Partnerships can be great, but they can also hurt real bad. So just be very, very, very careful of that. So where to start when thinking about partnering? I'm going to circle right back to the question that I brought up at the very beginning. What value do I bring? So if you're somebody that has capital to invest, let's say you want to go and make a better return on your money, and you have all this money that needs to be deployed. It's not doing anything. It's not working hard for you. That's the value that you bring. Now, if you're somebody who's done a number of deals, and let's say the typical A or B lender banks aren't looking at you anymore because you've just tapped out, we got to that position ourselves. Maybe now it's the point where you look into equity partnerships. Maybe now it's you look for somebody that has something like that, or some money that they would like to invest, and you can do all the work for them because you've been through the systems and the process and you know how it works. That value that you bring is being the expert. Maybe you're somebody who finds great deals, but maybe you can't execute it. But even finding the good properties, you can partner from like a 25% standpoint. You know, there's all these ways that you can structure your partnerships. So first things first, determine what value do you bring. And if you feel that you don't bring any value, I can tell you first off that's not true, but I will also tell you to start getting educated. Keep looking to videos and opportunities that you can gain more financial intelligence and more financial knowledge. And in time, you will find what value you bring to the table, and you'll find the part that you really enjoy doing, because this whole process is supposed to be an enjoyable process. We don't do it because we have to. We do it because we want to, and it's a great way to make returns and have a ton of fun while making money. So anyway, I hope you guys got something out of the video. Once again, if there's any questions at all, please feel free. Type in a message or anything like that. We're happy to answer. And once again, stay safe, everybody. Look forward to seeing you guys soon.